Welcome to one of the many circle sessions hosted by Wonder Girls. Wonder Girls is a nationwide classrooms movement. We bring relatable female role models into classroom settings through our circle sessions. As you will see, the crux of these sessions is its dialogic nature. We're currently working with classrooms across 7 Indian cities and continuing to grow. Our aim is for every adolescent in India to have access to relatable female role models. I welcome you once again and hope you enjoy learning from our role models' life journey and career path.
Much of your time, I would like you to, just introduce yourself to the students and, share something about your journey and what brought you to where you are today. And then we'll go ahead with that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Shradha Katyal. I'm born and raised in Mumbai. So the questions that I got today, first of all, cooking has always been a passion for me since, I don't know, when I was a young kid. As I mentioned, my passion purely comes from my grandparents, from my grandmothers. I share a culture of both North Indian and South Indian. So that's exactly where I saw, like, oh my God, creating food and feeding others, just seeing the joy that you would collect, just seeing people eat, like, people collect food is
Hi,
nothing
Miss.
like. Hello, hi. And so, yeah, I was lucky enough, fortunate enough to have parents and a family who supported me to switch to who helped me to actually convert my passion into a career. Now, anybody I would suggest who would want to get into this industry, for the first thing is that home cooking is very different from professional cooking. And me, for per se, when I started off, everybody is just like excited in the beginning that, oh my God, it's cooking, or it's baking a cake or making a pasta, yada yada. It's a lot different than that. I graduated from high school when I was just like everyone, 17 years old. I moved to Jaipur to start a course for the first 6 months. And mind you, not gonna lie, the first few months actually changed my whole perspective. I questioned everything because I was that individual who thought that cooking it's fun, it's like home cooking, it's like cooking for guests, cooking for family. We're just going to have a happy time. But professional cooking, kids, I'm going to be very honest with you. When I believe everyone is from the 8th grade here, right? When I was in the 8th grade, for me, again, it was like, oh, finally, I'm going to definitely cook. I'm going to do maths, I'm going to do science, but I'm going to cook. I would not need all of this in the future. That is not true. You will require a little bit of everything that you're studying right now will be required, because end of the day, what you're doing is art. So yeah, I mean, that being said, I was given the opportunity to go to Jaipur. That didn't quite work out for me, so I moved to USA. I got an opportunity to go to the Culinary Institute of America. That's in upstate New York. It's considered to be the world's number one school, and by that I mean it's one of the most challenging schools. Little did I know that cooking would be such a big challenge, but yes, it was the first time when I started off was in India as uh, I wouldn't call myself a chef. I started as an apprentice, as a cook. And in the beginning, I didn't quite learn much. You just had to sit there and observe. That's what I noticed as a student. You need to keep your pride down. You can't go up and just be like, I know this, I've done this before. You need to have your pride like stuck in a little bit, but learn and give it your best shot. So that being said, in 2016, I got the opportunity. I went to CIA, that's the Culinary Institute. How the school started over there was, I'm not sure exactly how. Would you want me to phrase the questions in a particular kind of way, or like just keep going on? Just wanted to ask you.
No, I thought you would just probably be giving an introduction and then probably, I'll interact with
I'm just
you
like
for a
doing
bit.
this for the first time. Where I was comfortable, if you could just like
Great, great, great.
go ahead.
Uh,
So, yeah, please.
So if you would like to share something more, you could go ahead, and then we'll probably ask you questions around it. Something.
Okay, I'll just like, because I do drag a little bit, so just
Oh,
let me
go
know.
ahead, please. Yeah.
I graduated from my culinary degree. That's so whenever you do culinary college, the first degree, first you get to choose, are you into the savory section or are you into the pastry section? And those are two separately whole different degrees that you do. In India, if I'm not wrong, it's now there are more culinary options like just solely cooking, but before it was just the hotel management and you get to choose and do a little bit of everything. I did my culinary arts. I got an associate's degree, and then I moved on to do the business aspect so that I want to eventually open a restaurant in the future. One must know more than cooking to just open a restaurant. It's a lot more than just cooking. So far that's been my journey. Because of COVID, I had to come back, but I've worked in New York City in Nomad at 11 Madison Park, which are both considered to be Michelin star restaurants. And I moved and I worked at Four Seasons Hotel in Miami for the past year. My specialty being so far, it's contemporary fine dining cooking, specifically in Italian food. And right now, I am doing a little home business kind of an idea since I'm home, but I'm also applying for new jobs. So, yes, that's my little tiny story. And if there are any questions, please go ahead. More than happy to answer them.
Great, great. It was lovely to hear, through your journey, narrated just like a story. I felt like I was hearing a story actually. Uh,
That's what I
uh,
was like. I do speak a lot, so I see that.
Great. Something which made me curious, while you were sharing your journey with me was, you spoke something like about the support that you received from your family,
Yeah,
for doing this. I could relate to this because in our society, in Indian society, doing something like this, or is usually regarded as unconventional, or for what are you even doing this? So did you face any challenges like this when you had mooted this idea to your dear ones, or your close family or something like that, and how you overcame your struggles or challenges, if at all you had any, and connected to this is another question. Like I also saw you talking about uh, maybe things are a little different now, but probably not very different in terms of the colleges and the courses available in India. So how did you look towards moving to the US, and how did that opportunity come by you? If you could share a little bit
absolutely.
on this.
Of course. So when it comes to the challenges part, it was a huge challenge. Me coming from a family of just science, just like how most, I'm not trying to be generic, but how most Indian families are either finance or science or doctors. I come from a science and finance background family. So my father was just straight out like, you have to do finance. There is no other way, because our industry, and I speak for not just the hospitality, but from generally any artistic industry, be any arts, it's considered to be looked upon as, oh, you're not going to make money. Not about the fact that, maybe the person is so talented that that they're going to lead towards him. So it was quite difficult for me to explain. It took me around, I still remember when I was giving my 10 standard boards, and they were still like, oh, you're not going to even consider about this. It has to be, you know, you have to be doing finance or go into commerce and all of that. I did do my commerce and everything, but I was hell bent that I want to get into hospitality because there is a career in it. And I found ways to explain it to my parents in a very gentle way. I did not go all against them that no, I'm just going to do it. Just there's a way you explain it to them that there is success wherever you put your heart. And if you love what you do and you give your 1000%, not 100, nothing less, just you're going to go all in and about your family. If they genuinely see that you have it, I don't see why would they not support you. There will, because I was always taught that you work hard and money will follow. If you solely follow money, your passion goes away and everything else. You're going to be just living each day to just live might as well do something. And for artists and anybody who's trying to get into cooking or something that makes people happy, it's very fulfilling. So I just explained it to them like I am explaining it to everybody here. And they did get convinced. I still have days when I'm doubted all the time. But end of the day, you have to focus and you have to believe in yourself. You can't wait for validation. You can't wait for that, oh, he doesn't like it, she doesn't like it. No, no, no. You have to focus on your journey and create. It's not compulsory that you know everything right now. You don't need to know what college you're going to go. You don't need to know what course you're going to have. Just believe in what you're going to do and do it as it comes. Give it your 1,000%. That's one thing I would say. That's how I convince myself and my family. And the other question you said about the colleges. So when I applied, my focus was not to go to USA. My initial was that I was going to do my 11th and 12th here, my bachelor's here, and for master's probably for a specialization course, I would go to the States. So I applied to, the regular IHM. I got into IHM Pusa, Bangalore. It's got a bunch of, and Chennai as well actually, and it's a bunch of it's a little tedious exam, not too difficult, but there was just something in me that I did not want to go there, mainly because of the stories I heard and all of that stuff. But still, I know so many people who are doing extremely successful at young age, a little older than me. I'm 23, by the way, but at a younger age and older than me, who went to all these colleges, because it does not matter where you study. It literally matters. I mean, it does matter where you study, I'm sorry, but it also matters as to how much information you take and how much you choose to learn by yourself. And secondly, for United States, how my opportunity came by, it was all a fluke. I will be very honest with you. It was not in the game. My course that I had chosen was one with, it was a private course and it was with a bigger company. It was a bigger hotel company that had started this course. So as just an any individual, we would want to get into a bigger company thinking that, okay, if we join a big company, we're set. You'll get a promotion, you'll get this, you'll get that. But always remember that if you feel, and always believe your gut. If you genuinely feel that you're wasting your time, because these are going to be your prime years, it's not going to come back. These are your prime years. If you're feeling like you're not learning somewhere, it's never too late. You can move on. You can go and try other courses. You must not waste your time. It's too precious. And what I would say, what my art
Good
is.
morning, Miss.
Hello, good morning. It's not much of a book writing industry. It's practical. I need to learn. I can't quite learn how to cut an onion or how to sear a fish over screen.
Good
I need to
afternoon.
be that practical. Good afternoon. And I wasn't learning. So I got the opportunity. It came by and there was an opening just for 3 more students available. I wrote my essays and I left my previous course in December 2015, and 2016 January I was there. And when I was there, it was again so different. I actually felt like this industry it's serious. It's not just cooking. It's actual serious studies, it's learning, it's strenuous work, all to equate to something. It's here to make a career. You're not just doing it for the sake of it. You yourself feel fulfilled, and that's exactly how it was. Very difficult, but it was, all in all, I would never do anything to take that experience away from me. It was fantastic.
So while you're talking about the seriousness about the sector, the industry, or something like that, because for most of us, who are not like like officially related to the industry or something like that, going to a restaurant or going visiting the hotel or something is just like a fun thing for us. Something
Yeah.
like, oh, there's a lot of fun there. We just enjoy over there, and we feel like people around there, so lucky they're working in a place like this or something like that. So so in that on that note, how would you say, talk about cooking as a profession? I heard you also say that cooking at home and for dear ones is much different from cooking, as a profession, on a larger scale like this, when you're doing business. So could you just elaborate a little bit on that, how the difference look like, in our day-to-day cooking, or and also put yourself in that as a person who's working and who's operating that hotel, and not like, to make this person who's just visiting to understand how it looks like, within the inside, some light on that, if you could share.
Absolutely. So as I said, cooking at home, it's you have your own time, you have your own space, you have no stress as to their standardization. Like if you do something, it's your family. They're gonna be like, oh, it's delicious, it's nice. You still get that own satisfaction, which is important too, to give that push. But when I realized and this is not to scare anybody here, I'm telling you, it's a very rewarding career, but the first time when I stepped into the kitchen, there are different various sections. You forget. I just forgot even how the outside of the restaurant looks. It's a whole different world inside. It's you have to be, everybody says what I've heard is that, oh, you're cooking. Cooking is just mixing spices, onions, yada yada. It's not. You have to be 100% alert mentally and physically. You have to be physically fit so you can be on your feet all day long, or how many hours it demands. It's 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 as in you're not going to be doing one thing at one time. You have a time cap. If your chef says that I need all your sauces, all your food to be ready by a certain time, it needs to be ready by. At home we don't have that kind of a stress cap on top of our head that it has to be. There's something called a standardization and rules, and when they say that the chef is right, the chef is right. So you have to listen to the chef. You have to understand that this is his or her ideology of a kitchen. And yes, you do get to know later. It's in the end, you're cooking, you're getting your tickets. It's in the end of your whole service that you realize that, oh, I actually made someone's day special. It was someone's anniversary. You made the best meal for them. That is the most rewarding part. If you genuinely love what you do, you know that, okay, yes, maybe it was someone's birthday, I gave up that today because I had to be in the kitchen. It was Christmas, I gave up that. But you made somebody else's Christmas. You did that, and that was because of your food, and that was because of what you actually do. And it's been seen not just by your family but by the world. So I hope that answers the question. That's how the difference is. Yeah.
So, something which makes me curious again over here is, it could have started off like, your passion or some inclination that, I want to do this or something like that, and then you're probably going to be jumping into this, without knowing what it looks like, on the other side. Now how does, like, how was it as a passion before you started, and does the same level of excitement, or the same understanding of passion remains, before you entered, this profession, or has the meaning, or has your perspectives around it changed, ever since?
Honestly, if anything, my excitement has just increased triple folds because now I have the skill, I have the knowledge, and I can just create. So my mind is always running. When I started, I was never allowed around a gas until I was in the like ninth or tenth standard. So I started off like not even cakes and everything. I started off making salads or little tiny things and all of that. And then I realized that, okay, I started cooking a little more and I started putting ideas and little this and little that, little this. And then when I actually got to college and I could implement that and you learn it professionally, that gets you so curious. Till date, I sit here, I have my pen and my paper or my that's how artists work, right? You're always creating recipes, but now you have technique in your hand. And when you have technique and when you have knowledge, you can create anything. Sky and beyond the sky is the limit, to be honest. So to answer your question, my passion has increased, if anything. And I still think about the day, the first time when my mom was like, okay, go, you're going to make, we're 8 people who are coming, you're going to make this salad. And just that, again, as I said, when sitting over there and just seeing everyone eat, and till date when I cook And when I see it's going outside to the table, and just how if you as a guest would walk in, you get excited, we get excited 10 to 7, like 10 4 times more than that, because it's our food, it's our creation. So the excitement has not died at all.
Lovely, lovely. That's so beautiful to hear. And I also see you, speaking about, the challenges that, that goes through in this process, and as a budding, person in the field, how you had to, like, believe in the, your head chef, or who he is, and and then, make sure that, you're obliging, and you're following what he says, and keep complete belief in that. And then you slowly, you get to do your stuff, step little by little. In this, in this kind of a scenario, um, uh, has your gender as such, been a thing of, question, or a challenge, in, uh, whatever it is, basically, as a challenge to, go up the ladder, or, to be yourself, or things like that.
Absolutely. Gender role has, and it's not just a thing in India, it's a thing in USA, it's a thing in Australia. I have first-handedly experienced in the kitchen as well that, oh, she's a girl. Okay. It's some places it's more blunt than some other places. To begin with, my experience in India when I started off for the first time, I, as a girl, my general persona is I'm a little shy, but I'm very serious when I do things, and they take that for granted. Oh, you're a girl, you can't pick up heavy because yeah, there are pots and pans and hot stuff and long hours. So typically, a woman is just assumed to be that, oh, she can't stand long hours, she can't do this, she can't take the heat because kitchen's not easy. People are abusing, people are loud. It's a rush. But my first question over there when I went there, and this was when I was 17, and someone asked me, I said, where was it written that you as a man are the only person can handle the heat? And I just had to prove them. I just had to prove it. And that's where you have to be on top of your game. But again, you can't change if you are around a head chef or a staff that is always looking down on you and not looking at your art because of your gender. There is no hard and fast rule that you have to stay there, because even you're not going to be proving anything to anybody. And I've personally faced that, and I've walked out respectfully of places that don't respect you because you're a woman and you can't do it and you deserve to be at home, or you deserve to be this. I get this so many times that, oh, you're a girl, you should be in front of the house, you should be a receptionist. Why are you cooking? Oh, you're too pretty to cook. Don't ever listen to stuff like this. Ever. You're there because you love what you do, you want to feed people, you've put your head and your focus in there. But if you ever have someone judging you, you never have to be in that environment. You walk out, and there are billions of kitchens out there who would want to have you and have a non sexist environment, because that's very important. You spend most of your day, I'm talking about it could be 8 to 14 hours. That's your second family. You don't want to be given less pay, or you don't want to be given less job just because you're a woman. That's not done. And that happens in India or America. As I said, I face that in the States as well. But that's something you walk up and you respectfully stand for yourself, because we can be triple times better than men. No offense to anybody, but we can be. It is what it is. Women are more stronger in any day when it comes. I've seen in the profession. So yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely to hear, and I can see a character of, a lot of tough and boldness in you, and I recollect you even speaking about this before, where you say that where you talk about this time factor, time is so precious for us, and
Mm.
where you don't find yourself doing something meaningful, to take the step of, exploring, and finding, your zone. And I also could see you talking about the same, in terms of your, professional life, where you say that, you don't need to keep taking a lot of nonsense, and find the place where you're meant to be. There are a lot of places, and there will be a place, where your work would be appreciated, and you would rather be allowed to expand. But this in a society like where we live, where could this be a little tricky for a lot of people, taking that bold decision of switching and moving and taking that call, could you comment a little bit about that, and how would you motivate people to be able to be bold and to really go with the calling from within,
Absolutely. So I was someone who I used to take stuff from, like, if someone actually gave me extra chores, I was a little naive. And that's okay. We're all humans. That happens. But at the same time, one must understand there's a difference between being bold and knowing where you stand, having self-awareness, and a difference between knowing that you're being taken for granted, or having arrogance. I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Like, so there are a lot of people, and that attitude will not work in a kitchen, anywhere in a kitchen. Arrogance, again, someone would come and tell me, but you need to be like, chefs are arrogant. I said they are arrogant because they've reached a level, but they're arrogant for the right reasons. They're not arrogant because they want to prove someone that they're better than you or anything. That's not it. That's not how a leader should work. A leader must be along with its team, be it woman or a girl or anyone. But again, I would give my personal experience when I walked into a kitchen, and the first time I took it personally. I told my chef, I said, is this just because, like, I'm a girl and you feel like I'm weak and I can't pick it? And that I said it with a straight face, no arrogance, nothing. But I had boldness in my voice because I know my worth. I know I'm talented. I have worked hard, but in no way, just because you're a woman, you're supposed to take, or even for young boys, nobody should take something where you don't deserve it. Simple as that. And when I was here in India, since I'm talking to the kids who are here in India, when I had that experience, I was told, they're like, you're too young, you must shut up. And my question was, why? Why should I? I'm not speaking anything that is offending you. I'm asking you, why aren't you teaching me this, like you taught him? But you're teaching me this in 3 seconds. How am I supposed to learn, and how, by any means, is my learning span supposed to be this much and the other person's this much? And I was never given an explanation, and that in itself is an explanation. You just need to know, you just need to understand, even if it's difficult here, if nobody takes a move, the kitchen environment is never going to change. The hospitality sector is never going to change. And it has been changing up in the past years that I've been noticing. So many young chefs, women chefs, so many of them are coming up, and so many of them are running kitchens at young ages. And running a kitchen is like running an army. It has to be in such synchronization. And yes, that's literally all I have. That you have to stand up for yourself. And even as I said again, yes, you're right when you said that it's not easy to move because that doesn't even look good on you and all of that. But again, I said, when you are choosing your place, you make sure you go over there and you see that nobody is treating you differently. And you will know that any common sense person with common sense would understand that. So yeah.
just before we move ahead, um, how, if you could share some insight into how to go along with that inner voice, how to trust that inner voice, and go with it, literally listen to it, and go with it, have you done something like that, if you could share something with us, that could help us to respect that inner voice within us.
Absolutely. Of course. So when the inner voice for me was exactly the first political outbreak, I would say, that I had in a kitchen was when I was I was actually 17. I'd just gone into 17. I had just moved into the kitchen, and I was looked as I'm trying to recollect this one moment, that what made me actually have my, yes, when just because I spoke good English. Mind you, I was in the kitchen to cook, but just because I spoke English, we were three other people in the kitchen, and I was the only girl in the kitchen. We all started at the same time. We're all 17, but all of them were being moved in every department. And I was just stuck. I wasn't even cooking. I was talking to guests and a buffet counter. And that was for 6 months. And within every month, I would ask, I'm like, chef, because again, I had that fear. I'm like, oh, if I speak something, maybe he might not move me. Maybe this is a test. Maybe this is, he's trying to see how strong I am. But there is only so much. That's when I went back home. I'm like, I can't do this where I'm crying every morning to go to a job which I want to consider to be the rest of my life. That's not how it's supposed to be. And I don't believe anybody who tells you that it's supposed to be always difficult. Yes, it's supposed to be difficult, but you need to love what you're doing. There will be tears, there will be sweat, there'll be terrible days. But even those terrible days, you're gonna come back and you need to have that willingness that, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have a great day next day. And hence when I had that one moment where I went and I told him, I said, what's the reason? Just because I speak good English, you're not going to teach me how to cook. And that was the day. I didn't yell or anything. As I said, I was bold. I went, I said, chef, they are being moved. This person's being moved. I am not getting the opportunity. Either you give me a reason or either we need to have a talk because I am not learning. And the next day, I was finally shifted into the second level of the kitchen as it is. It's because you spoke, and I have never given a reason for you to not put me in the kitchen. So you just have to put your foot forward because at times I've seen they think that you're not speaking and you're comfortable with where you are. They're not going to move you. They're not going to give you an opportunity because they just want to fill a position. So always that, but again, that's a kitchen you shouldn't be in. But again, every kitchen has its nooks and crannies. I have been in kitchens where I've had chefs. I tell them one thing as a chef, I don't know how to make the sauce. Maybe it's a basic sauce, but I said it's always better to ask than go and just do it. That's a bold move, but it's always better to ask, especially when it's not your kitchen, it's somebody else's kitchen. You could just imagine if your food is being cooked by others and it's your name that is going outside in the public, and if somebody else moves it. So, yeah, I'm sorry I'm getting off topic, but that was basically like how my inner voice went through. Yeah, I just had a bold move, and you make change, make it happen.
Absolutely. That was indeed inspiring. And to be honest, in the last 30 minutes, I've been like I thoroughly enjoyed your story, as a journey. It started off as a story, and then we could see a lot of those struggles and those patches of hardship, that you had to endure to live your cause. I would love to keep continue talking and getting to know more, but I would want our students as well to get a chance to interact with you and
I hope
yeah.
I'm not boring anybody because I can't see anyone. So I hope no one's gone to sleep. Everybody wake up. Huh? Don't sleep.
I'm sure they'll be awake right now. And students, it's your time. We have this wonderful chef with us. And whatever is there on the top of your mind, whatever you would like to talk to her, ask her. Please feel free to share. Now it's open for the students.
Anybody?
See a few people raise hands. Probably. Okay. Sahana from Kotur, I see you raise hands. Would you like to ask something, Sahana?
Sir, I want to ask something to Miss.
Sure, please.
Miss, how you get the idea to to be a chef? Somebody was told, or you think, Miss?
I'm sorry, somebody told me. Is that what it is?
Somebody was told this idea you can be a kitchen master, or you think your own?
This is a very good question. For me, I wanted to become, I loved cooking, and I thought what I want to do for the rest of my life. And as easy as this sounds, I wanted to become a chef because I love food, and I wanted to do that for the rest of my life. And if you can make money with it, why not?
Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sahana, for asking that very curious question. Uh, Aarti from Pulyur, I can see you as well raise hands. Would you like to come out of mute and ask your question, Aarti?
Yes, sir. So the question I want to ask to Ms. is, how you have started studying in the culinary school. So I want to ask you, how was your experience at the school that you have get some challenges or you enjoyed cooking like that?
Absolutely. That's a great question, actually. So when I walked in, if you have you ever watched MasterChef, the TV show MasterChef India, MasterChef Australia? You have, great. So the kitchens actually do look like this, be that in India or be that there. But once you start learning, it is pretty challenging because you're not just cooking to eat. Now you're going to be tested. Every class is different. They challenge you. You're going to have exams. You have midterms, you have written exams, you have practical exams, and it's fun, but it is like a college. And that is the time when you realize that, is this career really for you? Because as I said, home cooking is very different from culinary. Like when you go to culinary school, it's like going to an engineering school or going to a medical school. You're putting your work into practicality, you're putting into real life, and you're going to learn many things different. How a culinary school works is, at least how my school worked, we had, first is always going to be fundamentals, and mostly every school, be it any part of the world, they teach you French basics, because French cooking is known to be the mother of cooking of all. So you learn that, and from there, and that could be challenging because us as Indians we're not taught. It is a little bland food, it is what it is, and you learn that it's pretty different. You learn different things. One day the science behind cooking is so interesting. You learn the art of plating. You learn that that why this reacts at this temperature, why food safety is so important. And now that you see this bird flu and everything, that's, you literally study about everything. So cooking culinary school taught me that it's not about just, as I said, cooking. It's mathematics. You have to weigh your food. You have to understand costing, at what price you're going to set your menu. And it's a lot of science. It's a lot of hospitality. So learning team building, to learn how you have to communicate with other people, because the kitchen is not a one-man army. It's a whole team that needs to understand each other and go. So that was my school experiences. My challenges were definitely the exams and the long hours. And yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed it because I was around such passionate students from different parts of the world. Someone from Korea, someone from China, and it was amazing. You learn different types of cooking techniques from other people. So it was, all in all, a very difficult but an extremely enjoying journey for me.
Thank you, Miss.
You're very welcome. Any other questions?
Great. Thanks a lot, Aarti, for asking that question. I think that precisely, I had a very, clearer outlook of how it looks like, inside, your academic world, and,
Yeah, people
the
think it's just cooking. It's we had so many classes, and you're cooking, and then you're studying, and you're cooking, and then you're studying. It is not easy. Yeah.
So we have Roshni from Pulyur, who's been raising her hands for a while. Roshni, would you like to come out of mute and put for your question to ma'am?
Yes, sir. Miss, I have two questions. One is, do you have any role model for choosing this career? And if yes, who's that? And another one is, at what age do you have this idea of choosing this career or becoming a chef?
That's a very good question. My role model has always been professionally. It's been Marco Pierre White. He is, again, a French chef, very hardcore, but it's his story that inspired me. And also This, I don't know if everybody knows, but Gordon Ramsay, he is a very big inspiration to me, barring apart from how strict he is and everything, his journey of how he started as a dishwasher and how he then got into the kitchen and created this huge industry that he is at right now, restaurants and food, and gave opportunity to people. That's why he is my role model. And one day it's my dream that I could actually work with him. I'm going to make it happen, but that's one of my dreams. And also, I'm sorry, I don't know how that skipped, but Anthony Bourdain, Mr. Date Anthony Bourdain, he's not along with us anymore, but he is not just to me, but even to any common man, one of the biggest inspirations, because he has taught that you do not need to have any amount of degree, any amount of crazy money, or any sort of credentials to do or to pursue a career in cooking. Cooking comes from the heart, cooking comes from the soul, and it doesn't is not defined by any level or any class. So that's why he's been such a big inspiration to me and to a lot of people. I thought about the question was when I started cooking, right? As I said, I started cooking when I was in eighth standard, but it was a salad. But that's when I realized, and I honestly realized that I want to be a chef when I noticed that I do have a sense for flavors. I know I have the right sense for acid to salt, and that's something that I personally was achievement for me. Even going to CIA when I went to my college for the first time, my chef told me that you have a good knack for flavors, and that's something that naturally comes in. You can't force it inside of you. You naturally get a sense of the okay, the salt needs to be balanced and all of that. That's when I realized that yes, I want to do this.
Thank you.
Of course.
It's a lovely question, and it was a very nice response to hear as well. And okay, Rajendran of Puliyur, would you like to come out of mute and ask your question, Rajendran?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna talk to Miss Sir. Okay, sir. Miss, I am also know Gordon Ramsay, Miss. Many of them tell he's an arrogant man in the kitchen. But you started in Mumbai and gone to many other countries. As Indians, we know that's a pride for us, Miss. And I will also see culinary genius, Miss. Culinary genius. Uh, we also like to we also like culinary genius, Miss. As Indians, we also have most of them in culinary genius will be the abroad men and women, but we also proud we are also having a culinarist in India, Miss.
I'm sorry. Was that a question?
Rajendran, I think he spoke about a lot of those culinary arts from different parts of the world, and then I think he tried to connect it with with what is there in India. Rajendran,
Okay.
anything you want to specifically ask
Any
on
like
top of?
question specifically you were getting? I'm sorry. I think I lost your voice for like a few seconds.
Is Rajendran here? I think he's not
I
in the
think
call.
we lost him for a moment.
Lost him.
Once he comes back, we will get the question in the chat.
We will get to that. Yeah. In the meanwhile, would you like to comment on that aspect of his which he just shared? Like, there are a lot of these prominent, cooks and that we know from across the world. Be it from the US or France or Australia or from the West most of the times. But we do have, a rich culinary history over here, ourselves here in India. Anything that you would like to share about that, you know, in
Oh,
terms of.
I mean, honestly, I proudly go around and say that I'm Indian because the kind of I've eaten food from all around the world, but what are chefs in today's day? And it makes me absolutely so happy that chefs all around the world, you be it in Europe, London, Australia, US, South Africa, they're all opening restaurants that not only speak about just the regular Indian food like chicken tikka, paneer, this or this, they're actually highlighting food from different regions of the country. And that's what India is about. So there are a lot of chefs. There's Mr. Priyam Chatterjee, who's right now, who won the San Pellegrino Youngest Chef. That's one of the biggest titles one could get. There's, I'm forgetting right now just names that are coming up, but who've got Michelin levels. Just Michelin star is a coveted level like stars. You get three is the highest star by the company Michelin. That's a tire company that's only given to restaurants that have aced in everywhere. And there are Indian chefs outside of India, since India doesn't hold the guide, that have done India so proud. And people outside chefs, I'm talking about now, Gordon Ramsay himself says that one of his most favorite cuisines in the world is Indian cuisine. And there's so many chefs from India. Even when I was in college, I have so many of my seniors who've gone around and opened huge and great restaurants around the world. And even in India right now, me from Mumbai, there are such amazing restaurants. More so, it would make me happy if chefs here would do something that is more highlighting the Indian culture and modernizing it, but that's something I would like to see more from the chefs here rather than just sticking on to foreign methods. So that's exactly, if anybody is looking into it, Indian food, regional food needs to be highlighted, and that's something that chefs should do right now. But there are chefs who are doing amazing things. Indian chefs are doing amazing things out there in the world.
So, being locked in India for a very long time, so it makes me a little curious. So we over here in India, it's a lot of, it's a very fancy stuff, the fast food culture from the West, or, or maybe some cuisines, French cuisine, or, Italian, or some, or for the fact that, Southeast Asian cuisine, the Thai, Chinese, or things like that. Then how renowned is Indian cuisine, in the outside world, beyond India? How recognized is it, and how do people, welcome it, or how curious are they about this cuisine, or do they just find it too, oh, it's too spicy, it's not for me.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I was in the States, I used to crave Indian food. I mean, it's still the best cuisine in the world, period. But there are a lot of people who I will say are not as well aware about Indian cuisine or any other cuisine. They would consider that, oh, Indian, or they don't know what other, like I would ask anyone, hey, you've been in an Indian restaurant, oh, chicken tikka masala, or chicken, chicken, just tikka masala, that's it, or paneer tikka masala. They would not know a lot of it, but coming in big cities like Chicago or New York City or San Francisco, Miami, places have opened and introduced so much more. And that's the beauty of it, because I've had American friends who've told me, oh my God, have you tried this so and so dish? And it might be a vada pav for all that you know. And they're like, how did we not know about this the entire time? And the joy that I get, that this is what I'm saying. Not all Indian food is spicy. And that's something I'm seeing chefs create out there. When I was in the States, I'm part Malayali. Not all Malayali food is spicy. Yes, Punjabi food is super spicy. I made my friends try a coconut based something. They're like, what? There's coconut there? What? There's steamed food? Like, India has so much to offer, but so much less has been represented outside. And I'll be honest with you, when I went to Europe, other than other than London, Europe has some horrible Indian food. And it makes you sad. I'm like, what are you serving boiled food with like color on it? I have actually gone to restaurants and it's Indian owned restaurants. It's owned by Indian families. I said, just because you want to, there are a lot of people, that's what they do. They want to get adapted into the culture so much that they're so scared to bring out the true flavors of Indian cuisine. And that's incorrect. Indian food is palatable in all forms to all parts of the world. For someone who loves spicy, for someone who loves sweet, sour, everything. Like maybe something in one of the students right now, there'll be a dish that you think that, oh, never nobody's tried, it doesn't deserve to be on a 5-star menu or something. That's what it has changed. That's the change that's happening right now. A small avial has turned into a 5-course, 5-star dish meal. A little idli has turned into an innovative dish or meal. So that's what is happening. I'm seeing abroad and in India as well. And for abroad people, yeah, some people are not going to change their mind. You can't help it. But for those who are open to trying new things, they are, and they are mind blown as to how much our culture, food has to offer.
Got you, Anand. Thank you so much for sharing that, insight with us, about, the cuisine and, outlook of the, Indian cuisine in the outside world. Now, there are
Oh, yeah.
some students, who are curiously raising their hands. We'll pick a few from them. Probably, Rishi, would you like to go ahead and ask a question, Rishi? If you come
Yes,
out of
sir.
me. Yeah.
Miss, how a day and uh, how a day and work be like for you, a normal day?
A normal day's work in the kitchen, you mean?
Yes, miss.
Yeah, so if it's a normal day service, you walk in, the first thing you know, it depends if you're doing a lunch or dinner service, first thing your chef or your station, whatever station you are, there's a cold station, there's a hot station, there's a meat station, and there's desserts. And depends on every kitchen there will be. You walk in, you will set your knives and all your stuff at the perfect place, and your chef will first tell you how many covers meaning how many reservations you have for tonight. So according to those reservations, they'll be like, okay, we have 100 guests tonight. So each person now, as if you're one of my colleagues, and I'm here, Shradha, and you as Rishi over there. Rishi will be handling 3 salads. I'm handling 4 dishes. So I need to prep enough in those 4 hours. Mostly everybody gets like 2.5 to 4 hours of prep time. So you must always go and prep for all your dishes that you need for a service that has 100 people. So if there are 100 people, always, your chef will also tell you, always make extra because something can get burnt, something can, you can drop it. So you do that, you get ready, then there will be something every kitchen has is you always are cleaning. One thing, any kitchen, small kitchen, big kitchen, Indian kitchen, foreign kitchen, you have to be cleanliness and hygiene is very important. That speaks a lot about you, and a lot is judged about you based on that. You walk in, you do all of that, you're finished with your prep, you're confident, you go for a meal, family meal. Family meal is what all the kitchen people eat food together, that half an hour, and your chef will sit there and he will discuss with you that, okay, today we have this guest coming in, we have an anniversary, we have to make an extra cake for them, you have to do this, that. You have your instructions, you go back after your food is done, you prep your station, you keep all your vegetables, all your stuff, everything should be close to you. So during the service time, that's when the tickets are coming in, you are prepared, you are ready, because nothing, like just like your exam, when you're, or just like anything, if you're going for your sports game also, you're ready with your shoes, you're ready with your glucon D, you're ready with all your stuff. This is, and in culinary terms we call it mise en place. It's a French word that basically means have all your things ready in front of you. If you run around, your fish will get burnt, your this will get burnt, and wasting food in a kitchen is you're wasting time, you're wasting ingredients. You don't need that. So always have everything ready, be prepared, always be physically, as I mentioned in the beginning, be alert, be physically alert, be mentally alert, keep cleaning. And once service is finished, you all clean everything, and you go home. It's literally as simple as that.
That was a nice question and an awesome answer as well.
Thank you.
Ahmed, would you like to come out of mute and ask your question?
Yeah. I had three questions to ask. First one is what's your favorite food to cook and also to eat? Second one is what's your signature food? Third one is what is what is the hardest food you have cooked ever?
Okay, that's a very good question. Since I'm only 23 and I'm going to talk about my professional kitchen experience. My favorite thing to cook will be two things. Since I've lived abroad most time, it's of course on a Sunday a good Indian meal. My amma's Malabar chicken curry, I will cook that. Or my personal favorite thing to cook is pasta. Anything pasta, and I never cook one type of sauce. That's the beauty about pasta. You boil your pasta, you make it. You can create a sauce with anything that's in your fridge. You have coconut, don't tell the Italians, but you can create anything. And that's why I love cooking pasta. It's filling, it's comfort food. When I cook for myself, it's always comfort food. And it's also exciting because you never know what are you going to create next. So pasta is my favorite thing to cook. Favorite thing to cook and to eat. I will say Italian. All in all, Italian is my favorite thing to cook and eat. Also to eat, I love Thai food. Personally, I just love Thai food is so close to my heart because of you have a little bit of everything. I love spicy food, so that's why Indian food is the best. But Thai food has salty, sweet, spicy, a little bit of something for everyone. So that would be to answer your second question. I love to eat also Thai food. And the toughest thing that I've had to cook was when I was in this French restaurant and uh, I had never cooked beef before or ever cooked lamb. We get mutton here. We don't get, sorry for all the vegetarians, but for me, it was the meat station because in the States or abroad, unlike in India, everybody loves their meat and their food at different temperatures. And there are 5 to 6 types of temperatures. And when you're getting 15 tickets at one time, and even if one temperature goes wrong, the chef is not going to be happy. So that was one of the most challenging few days for me. I couldn't sleep in the night because, again, when you are so passionate about something, you want to perfect. So I would stay, I would study, I would go back home after a 14-hour day service and I would go home and cook it. And I'm like, tomorrow, it's going to be the most perfect beef anyone has had. And that's how I perfected myself. So that was a very difficult experience because I don't have any experience with French food, even taste wise. I don't know what it is. I know Italian knows this, but we don't have in Mumbai or India anywhere that idea of French food. So for me to understand the flavors, to understand the cooking style technique without having, I didn't get any time to learn. Like that's again another thing. If you go to culinary school, this is just a common answer. I would like to common thing I would like to put out there. That don't expect that you're going to graduate knowing everything. They teach you basics. They teach you how you are supposed to be in a professional cooking scenario. They teach you basic, but that basic can be applied in any cuisine, in any form, in anything. But don't ever think that you're going to get out and you're going to know everything. Every day is a learning journey. So, yeah, that was your answer, and that was my further extra answer that I just gave out there.
Shows the love
Thank
for food you have. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ahmed, for putting forward that question. I think we have time probably for just one last question. And let's
Please.
see. Could you take it from Kavya, please? Would you like to come out of mute and ask the question, Kavya?
Don't be shy.
Kavya, would you like to go ahead? We couldn't hear you, Kavya, if you would like to come out and ask again. Okay, I guess we're not able. Okay, I guess some issues going on with Kavya. She's trying to put a question, but she's not able to put it. Kavya, you could even type it in case you're not able to speak it out. In that case, could we take the last question from Sahana? I see Sahana as well been raising hands for a very long time. Would you like to take the question, Sahana?
Yes, sir. Miss, what is the first food you cook? You become a master.
With the chef, what was the first
Yeah.
food I ever cooked in a professional kitchen? The first food I ever made was actually a tomato and cheese salad, to put it in better terms. But it was no easy. If I would have to say in the technical term, it was a confit tomato burrata cheese salad with almonds, this and that. But that was the Michelin star restaurant. That was the first, that was in the workplace though. But if I had to say professionally in a kitchen ever, it was the first thing I made was a beef soup, a classic beef stock, a beef soup. That's what you learn in any culinary school. First things you learn is fundamentals. There's are stocks and sauces and soups.
Thank you, miss.
You're very welcome.
Got so there was a really interactive round of questions and getting to know you from the students.
Ma'am,
Thank you.
Okay. Uh, we Kavya is just come back. Let's see. Is it okay if we can take a question as well?
Please, of course, please.
Kavya, would you like to
hi,
share?
ma'am.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. Um, the the question that I want to ask is what project?
I think I lost. You can hear? I couldn't
Ka-
hear. I can't hear it.
Kavya, would you like to go for it once again?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Can you hear me?
I can, but I'm losing your voice after every second. If you can hear it, sir, and if you could let me know, that would be
Yeah,
great.
yeah, sure. Kavya, please put for your question.
Hi,
In
ma'am.
case we,
The question
in
that I
case,
want to ask is what's your future goals and projects?
My future goals?
yeah.
Yes, ma'am. What's your future goals and projects?
Projects, great. I've been working on right now. I'm looking for a job currently to keep my art alive since the industry is pretty messed up all around the world. But I'm also working on my own pop-up kitchen. That is on every week. I held a pop. I host a pop-up lunch. That's on a delivery basis, and that's on upscale casual food. So it's not super fine dining food, but it's not even super casual. It's where you go and it's a little elevated food, the modern cuisine. That's what I would say. And I'm not inclined towards one cuisine. I love to mix. I don't like to use the word fusion, but I love to use one technique and add different flavors. That's where my creative mind works with. And my future goal is to definitely work to open my own little upscale cafe space where you enter inside, you have a good time, great time, good lights, everything, and some fantastic food from all around the globe, because that's where I take my inspiration from. Yeah, so far that's the goal. Other than that, I don't know. Nobody ever knows what they want. Let me tell you that. It's okay if y'all don't know what you want right now. It will come to you.
that's lovely. That's a lovely piece of word. Just out of curiosity, so do you plan to take these projects or your initiatives, for the I heard you saying that you'd want to have your own restaurant or something of that note, or your cafe. Are you planning on having this here in India or elsewhere?
Um, so far, I haven't really given that a big thought, but I think Indian market is where it is right now. for when it comes to opening your own businesses. So it would be India or as I said, everyone should dream. So my dream since childhood was to open Italy on a course in Italy. But let's see when that happens. So yeah, it's definitely because I love the waters. But it would be if I do open, I would love to open in either Puducherry or in Mumbai or in Goa or just places like this where people actually appreciate great food.
Great. That's really lovely, and I hope you open it in one of our places here, and then we could probably come in and
Definitely.
relish your talents and your creations, and all the very best to you. And thank you so much for the time and the insights which you shared with your students. I could thoroughly see them enjoy and very involved, by the way they ask the questions.
I hope so. Y'all enjoyed this and you'll take something from this that it's okay to not know what you want, but cooking is one of the most fruitful. Hospitality is a very fruitful industry if you definitely love what you do. I promise you that.
Sure. And
Thank you, Shradha, for being here and absolutely spending your time with the kids. I hope the kids have so much more to ask, and they have been raising. Some of them have been raising hands for so long. We will get those questions to you through chat or email, whatever is your preference.
Perfect.
And you can just text them back, and we can deliver it to them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye. How to leave this?
Right, sir. Shall we end it?
thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, children. Bye bye. See you.